because with this momentum candle, it already speaks a lot, because if we forget about the structure, so with that being said, this particular trade is more a valid trade because yes, my people, it's my hope that you are all doing fantastic, and welcome back to our trading recap. Now let's start off with AUDJPY. Now looking on the AUDJPY, we can see that we responded from this double bottom formation, and then we saw that particular impasse. We show here a pullback, then impasse, and now we can see there is a correction that is forming here outside these previous highs in a form of continuation to still push to the upside. Okay, so that's the good thing about it. Okay, that's the good thing. And now the area that we are looking, we are more likely to come back to this first inflection point, either there or to these previous highs over there. So that's what the daily time frame is showing us. But on the flip side, if we just compare that to what we have already seen on the JP225, is that we can see a lot of yen pairs are showing us indication of the sell-off from last week, right? But here's the thing. I've always told people that whenever you are in the daily time frame will always give you the clue of the probability of the trade, either if it's high in probability or it has a low probability, or it's valid, to put it that simple. So a high probability trade and a valid trade, you'll always determine it on the daily time frame. So I always look on this area, structure, candlestick. So if we look on the area, we can see that we impassed and we are trading above the previous highs, right? That's the clear clue that we have, and which is giving us an upper end of the price to move to that particular area, right? Okay, when we look on the structure, we can see we have this structure in a form of a descending structure, which is retesting on the back end of this previous highs, right? And even if I could draw over there something, you'll see it more clearly in the H4 time frame. You would see clearly that we are retesting on the back end of this particular price action. So this price within itself, in form of its structure, is still supporting us to really move to the upside. Why? Because this is a clear impasse, this is a clear correction, and now we are looking for the next for the next continuation. And when we look on the candlestick is now more of the momentum candle to the downside, right? So it's more of bearish pressure, right? Which is still good to us, because whenever we see like these heavy momentum candles from the daily time frame, they more often than not retrace as quickly as they just impassed, right? But on the flip side now, if we just have a look on the JP225, we would have seen that it was showing us that we are more likely to sell off, and that is the mental picture or image that we had. So the fact that we have now the edge of us playing more to the upside, but in the flip side we have the upper hand of playing to the downside, the price becomes neutral. Why? Because with this momentum candle, it already speaks a lot, because if we forget about the structure and then just put this ray line over there, you would have seen that we have started clearing this particular area. So there's a very possibility that if we get a continuation from there, then we are more likely to sell off. So with that being said, this marks or gives us to state very clearly that this particular trade is more a valid trade, because it has 50-50 chance, to put it that simple. Now let's go to the H4 time frame and see what we would have done. Okay, now from the H4 time frame, we saw it very clearly and obvious that the price is retesting on the back end of this previous action, price action, and we can see that we have a clear descending structure, which the descending structure is always giving us an edge. And over here we can see that if we are going to get that retrace, it means that we have more of something like this, which gives us that upper end information of the morning star formation. And as we know, the morning star candles are always giving us a upper end that we might see more of the buying pressure rather than the selling pressure. So the good thing here is we already see the market has two sides. it can either sell off, it can either buy. So the good thing is that you should not marry the bias. The only thing that you have to focus on at this stage is knowing how you get prepared with both scenario, because the H4 time frame will always confirm that to you. That's why I always state the H4 time frame is my confirmational time frame. So with that being said, over here what I was looking is that if we are going to get a clear impasse, at least impasse breaking back toward these previous lows, and then we see a continuation over here, that will already give me an edge that we are more likely to push to the upside, right? And then on the flip side, if we just start to see some continuation, minimum of a 1 hour continuation just underneath over here, it will already paint a clear picture to me. Why? Because on the H4 we already have a clue that price has formed here a double top formation in the form of V shape, and now we can see this is a clear impasse surpassing these lows and these lows. And now if any continuation will be formed over here, it will give us that advantage of the price to push to the downside. So I had that in mind. Now coming into 1 hour time frame, what I was just waiting at this stage was just a clear impasse back into the price, and then clear continuation to confirm the direction and taking that advantage for the next run to the upside. So let us see what the price did. So from the price, we started to see it just filled the wick, which was the H4 rejection over here. As we can see, it was filled, and then price started to give us some signs of pushing to the upside. Now if we just forward the price, you would have seen something like this, which was a good sign to me at this stage, because we already broken these previous lows and with momentum, and in the H4 time frame that had already confirmed to me we have more of that momentum candle or momentum pressure to the upside. Now let's have a look over here on the 1 hour. Now on the 1 hour, just to wind this back because the price has just gone a little bit surpassed very fast, is that we saw, just to remove this drawing so that we keep our charts more clean and clear. So over here, what I was looking for the continuation. Okay, I was looking for the continuation. And for those of you who just took the position from the 15 minutes, that was a pennant. Okay, that was a pennant continuation over here, which beforehand we had something like this, which was still valid and good to take, but with pennants and the way price was just showing us, and the rejection that were also seen visibly from the 1 hour time frame, which if I go just back to 1 hour, you would have seen that more clearly. We can see there was some rejection over there, so there was a chance of their price getting filled to those particular areas. So I just waited for the price just to come back to the downside to give me something like that. Okay, then price just took its time, it formed something like that, and then at this stage we had something like that. Okay, now at this stage I just moved into H1 time frame, because at this stage we already got a clear 1 hour continuation. At this stage, this was a clear 1 hour continuation flag, one that you should not rule off, one that you should not complain about, because at this stage you already have 2 minimum touches at the bottom and 2 touches at the top. So we had something like this. So what I opted to do is that you can see this is a clear continuation with clear candles, 1 2 3 4 5 6, more than enough, right? So what I opted to do is that I just set my entry just above over there, with my stop loss just underneath over there with 22, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and then price just did something like that. I was tagged in, and then we saw there I was tagged out. Then finally just price did what it did. So is this one of those ones that I could take over and over? The answer is yes. Why? Because all of the conferences that we were looking at this stage had already played out. And what did happen next? We were just waiting to see if we are going to form again underneath this a continuation, but because all of the information we are more showing us to the upside, that's why you have seen that the price has just kept moving to the upside, despite the fact that we did not get any other entries. But this goes to show that our direction was still the same and our confirmation was still good.